Mephiston, Chief Librarian of the Blood Angels, but not in the sense that he'll be hunting you down for your late fees and your non-return books. No! Previously known as Callisterius, he succumbed to the Blood Angels' curse of the Black Rage, and in his last battle within the Death Company, he was buried under a collapsed building. After several days, though, he eventually made his way out from under the rubble, but he was not the same person anymore. Being the only Blood Angel ever to overcome the Black Rage, he was reborn anew as Mephiston, the Lord of Death.
Hey, how's it going everyone? Welcome to Creekstar Collects. Today, I'm going to be jumping into Joytoys Warhammer range, and we're going to be having a look at Mephiston from the Blood Angels. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So before we jump into opening them up, let's have a quick look at the box. So we've had a quick look at the front there, got a nice picture of Mephiston all in a nice pose, replicating his model actually from the Warhammer range. And as you can see, he's got his name, it's got the Blood Angels branding, Joytoy Warhammer 40k, and the scale. These are 1/18 scale, so they're quite small in comparison to a lot of other ranges. It's not normally something I'd go for, but it's Blood Angels, it's Warhammer, and yeah, I think it's going to be really cool. So, on the side then, it literally just says, you know, Blood Angels Mephiston. It's got the Warhammer logo, Joytoy 40k. But on the back, we've got some nice poses. So, we've got a nice neutral pose here, from behind the scenes, so he's standing from behind to see what it looks like. A nice little action pose, so you can show he can turn his head and everything, get a bit of articulation in there. We've got a nice pose with him with his pistol out, again. It's sort of reminiscent or replicating the actual model pose, as you can choose two different poses when you build that kit. And we've also got a picture down here showcasing all of the accessories he comes with. And then up here we just got a bit of legal stuff, which I don't know why they put that there, it's a bit boring, it's a weird way to just fill this gap here. You might have thought they'd probably put, you know, a little bit of detail about Mephiston himself rather than the copyright stuff and about the double-headed eagle logo and the winged hammer, etc. I found that a bit of an odd choice, to be honest. You know, maybe something about who Mephiston is, you know, Chief Librarian, Blood Angels, give him some details, people who might not know, would have been nice, but no, they've gone with some legal stuff. Anyway, on the other side, we've got more boring stuff, so we don't need to look at that. That's just more talk and text and stuff. On the bottom, we've got the Warhammer logo, and again, we have the Warhammer logo on the top. So that's it. So, now we've had a look at that, let's get him open. Okay, he comes with, so, he actually comes side on, and even though I mentioned he was 1/18 scale, this still caught me by surprise at how small he actually is, and because he comes side on, I was half expecting him to come out the top, standing up, and almost be the full thing, but no, he's side on, and he stands that tall, which is, yeah, makes sense, really. I just completely forgot, I don't know why. I literally just said about it, and it took me by surprise. But you can see him in his plastic packaging, he's got his sword, his extra hands, his pistol, and his backpack, and then you get this. So that's his cloak by the looks of it, and a figure stand. So let's get these open and we'll have a look at him. And here he is outside the box then. So before we kick off this review, I have to start with a negative, well, just start it off on a negative basically. And that is also a word of warning to anybody who might be looking to pick this up. When you attach the cape, so it's this bit here, as you saw, it has two little loops. So to attach it, you have to pull the arms out of the sockets first to be able to get it in, and then it sits over the joints as you plug them back in, and then it just hangs down. Now the problem being is these pauldrons, shoulder pads, kind of make it a bit difficult to get to the arm to pull the joints out gently. I mean, for me, ideally, I thought you'd be able to get them to like a 90-degree angle and then just slowly work them out. And I did, so this one was fine. However, this one, not so much. I should have probably warmed it up, so it's my own fault a little bit, but at the same time, it's not, unless it's just me, I don't think it's well designed to try and get this out without trying to break it. So like I say, these shoulder pads, they're held in by like a little band and a loop on it that plugs again into the arm socket. So once the arm socket goes back in, it holds everything in place. And I had an issue, as you can see, where I broke the bloody thing. So that's very annoying to start with. And yes, I'm not happy about it, but one redeeming feature is this actually holds the arm in place, so I can still technically pose it. So you can still move it around, you know, you can bend it, you can move it outwards, so we can still hold the sword, the pistol. I mean, you can even raise it up. So it still works to an extent. And I think the only way it's ever not going to work is if you want to push the arm out to the side a little bit, because then that's where it won't hang on as well. But, you know, you can still get full range of motion and it still technically works. You just got to be a bit more delicate with it. So just wanted to start off with that, and yeah, bit of a negative and a warning. So hopefully if you do pick this up, you've seen this and it helps you be a bit more careful than I was, because I'm a little bit of an idiot. So probably warm them up with a hairdryer or something before you do that. Anyway, let's carry on. Whilst we're on the subject then, after mentioning his arm, let's have a quick look at some of the articulation whilst we're here then. So he comes with toes. He can twist his feet. Feet just pop off quite easily. Their little ball joints pop back on. Restricted by the movement from his legs. Restricted by his legs, so the movement's restricted. But you know, you still do. You get what you need out of it. He twists at the hip, sort of that much. That's all you get in. He'll come up forwards for a front kick. He'll be able to boot you, but he's not going to kick behind. And bending his knees, yeah, he can get about a 90-degree angle. I think he can go a bit further. Some restrictions from his skirt there, but for the most of it, I think he can do the full range that he's built to do. And then he can go back down again. So that's what you're getting from the legs. As a torso, you've got that much of an ab crunch. He's going to look up about that much, and then he can twist like he did last summer, about that, and he can side to side a little bit, but I say that's a decent range of motion for what you need from him, so that's looking really good. As for the head, so the head can turn sideways. He can look inside of his own hood. He can kind of look, so if he was going to see what's going on, he can actually see past his hood. He's not looking, oh no, he is looking up, and he's looking, that's about as far down as he's going to go, so that's about it. But as for upwards, yeah, he can look up as well. As for the arms, let's not look at this one, let's go to this. So you're restricted because of these shoulder pads, the pauldrons. They're going to restrict your movement slightly, so you're never going to come up to a 90-degree angle, but you can come up forwards to 90 degrees, so you can hold his pistol, his sword, or whatever he needs to up there. He can also go upwards, so you can go all the way up. That kind of just moves slightly out the way or follows it round, and then you can go back down again. But like I said, if you need it to come out to the side, you can move these ones out the way, but it sort of breaks up the figure and it looks a bit weird. You've got a little cut here just on the bicep to twizzle or swizzle the arm around, so that goes all the way round. And you've got elbows, so the elbow goes once and it sort of goes twice, or does it not? No, I think that's about all you're getting, but I think that's restriction. Hang on. So yeah, there's nothing in here where the glove ends, so that's all you're going to get, and you can't twist it from there. As for the hands will go all the way around, and they're held on just by these little ball joints, and they pop on just like that. So that's it for articulation. Let's carry on and have a look at something else. Let's have a look at the paint app on him then. So they've done a really bang up job on this, I'd say. And oh, there we go. Straight away, there goes that fucking arm again. Right, so he's yeah, paint app is amazing. They've dry brushed it a lot, which is a really cool thing to see. That makes it pop. They've painted all the black. So on these capes and is the cuffs here, they've done like a light grey highlight just to make it stand out a little bit more. You know, they've washed all the silvers. It looks like they've dry brushed some of the silver as well, just to make that stand out. They've dry brushed his hair, which gives it, you know, a bit more depth. And they've painted his eyes really well. And I mean, his whole face actually looks really well done. They've, you know, the blues and the whites in his eyes. Speaking of, I don't know why that links to it, but skulls. They've washed the skulls. They've painted the sockets of the skulls. You know, a lot of companies probably wouldn't even bother doing that. They just leave them like a bone color, I guess. So it's nice that they've gone to that length. They've done, it looks like they've done something on the white wings here, but not on the ones on the middle bit here. So that's curious, but I don't think it really is necessary. I think they look fine. You can just sort of tell there's something going on with those ones. But yeah, that's not, you know, end of the world. The gun pouch, they've done a little silver button on it, nothing else. The book, now, the book, they've painted the gold, the silver, and then like a little blood drop on it as well. And they've even the little bookmark, I guess, is a different color, it looks like, to what the pages are. So, you know, they've painted that separately by the looks of it. The paint app. So the paint app in general is actually pretty good. There's just little spots. I think it's mostly the gold where they've kind of... So that's not quite applied correctly. It's kind of missed a little bit. It's on the black. A little bit of bleeding on the gold when it comes to this brown thingy holding all his... words escape me. Holding his thingies, I guess, if that helps, you know. These bits, you can see them. Syringes. Are they syringes? Yeah, vials. Vials of blood. He carries vials of blood. I can't remember in the lore why. I don't know if it's something to do with Sanguinius or not, but he just likes to carry around needles of blood. Whether he's taking your blood or stabbing you with his own, I have no idea. The only slightly negative, I guess, is underneath his skirt here. If we just, sorry Mephiston, just flash the camera a little bit. There's a little bit of a paint scuff there from some black. I'm not sure how or where that's come from, but not the end of the world, because put his skirt back down, dress him correctly, get him back to where he was, and you will never know it's there. So that's something I can let slide. Other than that, you know, it's amazing, actually. I have to say, I think I'm actually quite impressed with their paint app on this figure. Let's take a quick look at his accessories then. So, Mephiston comes with 2 sets of hands. You've got 2 trigger fingers, so you can have him holding a pistol with either hand. And then you've got 2 open fist holding hands to hold the sword in. But you don't come with any closed hands or anything like that. So they're the only hands you're getting. He's got no like open hands to do some crazy ass psychic stuff, you know, having his hands out, look like he's killing somebody with his mind. That's all you're getting. So, you know, if you're going to pose him, you're basically posing him with the pistol and the sword. Speaking of, your plasma pistol. So he comes with his famous plasma pistol, which again, another blood vial here, and a little keychain, Blood Angel's keychain on the end there, just in case, you know, he drops it and then people know whose it is. Then they've actually gone to the length of painting the silver parts again, which, you know, it keeps blowing me away how much effort they've gone to with the paint app on this thing. They've done like the dry brush and silver effect again, so you've got like a wash by the looks of it, and they've done like a light dry brush and a silver over it. And then they've even painted the plasma coils, so, you know, you've got a little bit of a blue plasma coming through there, which just makes it look rather nice. I mean, hell, they've even painted these bits, the little screws or rivets, you know. Even I do that sometimes on my models, and then often I even skip them, you know, I sometimes skip them. That's what I'm trying to say. Last but not least then is the sword. And the sword has a name, which now escapes me. It begins with a V, Vitarius or something like that. So correct me if you feel like it. I could have probably looked at that beforehand, but I'm already recording, and I thought I did know it. However, things and words and stuff escape me, as you probably know. But looking at the sword with a name I can't remember, you can see the paint app again is looking rather tasty. So they've dry brushed the silver again, it looks like, across the blade. A little bit of a red bleed on that gold there, so there's a little bit of red smeared onto the gold. They've even gone and painted what looks like maybe blue over the silver to give it like a metallic-y blue effect to make it look like the Force Sword is activated and the power is on. Or they've just sprayed it with a blue metallic. I can't really tell. Either way, it's metallic and it's blue. You got your gold up here again on the hilt and not the hilt. This is the hilt. The guard, that part with the skull. You know, and they've even painted again the blacks of the eyes of the skull. The pommel is gone in a gold, and the handle is even done in a brown with a slight wash as well. And again, on the other side, it's just the same. There's little flecks of gold here and here though, so a little bit, and there's a little smudge or something there. But all in all, it's not anything, I think, for me anyway, too drastic that I would ever consider sending it back for. I can live with these little tiny imperfections, considering how well the rest of it looks, in my opinion anyway. So, how tall does Mephiston stand then? In the scale of Joytoys 1/18, he stands about, that's over 4.5 inches, that's about 4 3/4 to his head. So if you go to his head, but then if you went to the top of these skulls, he's just shy of 5.5 inches, which, if we flip it around, in centimetre scale, he's about 12 centimetres to the top of his head and about 13.5 centimetres to the top of that skull there, so the top of his psychic hood. So, what does that mean then in regards to other lines then? How does he compare? Well, let's take a look. So here's how he looks next to Goku from the Figure Arts range and Cloud from the Bring Arts range. As you can see, a little bit shorter than both of them, only by a little bit, a little smidgen. Here he is next to Marvel Legends Spider-Man and White Ranger from the Mighty Morphin Lightning Collection. And for a completely different size comparison, here he is next to an SD Gundam and a HG 144 Gundam. And lastly, here he is next to his battle brother Sergeant from the Second Company, who he actually stands slightly taller than, looking at it. I'm not up to date with my Joytoy stuff, so I don't know. I've just been learning that there is a 1.0 and 2.0 versions, so I'm not sure what this Sergeant is, but as you can see, Mephiston is just slightly taller than him if you go from the head-to-head scale. And one last thing then before we round up this review. Something I've noticed that I forgot to mention is, if you come down to his little skirt down here, you've actually got a little nub in there and a hole to actually push that through to keep, if I can, to keep the skirt together. So it should. This is really awkward in front of the camera, can't do it. Okay, that wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be, but with a little persistence, and there we go. You can see it kind of just, it plugs in. Well, you can't really see, but if I look under there, you can see that it plugs in just to try and keep it together, I guess, which is another little feature that I wasn't aware of. I came across that. I don't think it's necessary, but it just tries to, it's there. Keep it together. I guess it's just trying to keep it together. Just add a little extra that was quite nice of them to put in, I suppose.
Let's end this review on a positive then, because I really like this figure. I'm really impressed by it. It's, I mean, apart from the negative start we had with the arm obviously falling off, everything else has been an absolute pleasure. I mean, the whole aesthetic has really impressed me. The paint job is, I'm still blown away by that. I know there's some sloppiness in places, but overall, it's an amazing paint job. And the figure, it looks exactly like Mephiston, so, you know, they've completely nailed it on all of those accounts. The articulation as well, you know, it seems maybe limited in some areas, but I think there's more than enough on there to do what you need to do when it comes to posing a Space Marine, let's put it that way. And the articulation works really well. I've had no troubles with it. The accessories are spot on. However, if I find myself wanting something more, it probably would just be, you know, a set of closed fists and maybe a set of open hands as well, like proper open hands, like relaxed open hand type thing, so you could pose him a little bit different, because at the moment you are kind of locked into having him either hold his weapons or, well, no, actually that is it, actually, yeah, you've got open holding hands and the trigger finger hands, haven't you? So that's really it, to be fair. I'm not bothered about having just one expression on his head. I think they've completely nailed that. It looks just like him. I don't think you need anything else. I think that's fine. And just sort of circling back around then, just a little negativity is the arm. Like I did mention, maybe I should have warmed the joint up, and a little bit that's on me. But at the same time, if you're going to design, you know, your figure to have removable arms so you can get one of your accessories on, maybe, just maybe, they need something a bit stronger in those joints. But who knows? Either way, like I say, I managed to turn a negative into a positive and keep that arm on, so I'm happy. But that's enough of me blabbering on now anyway. I've kept you long enough. If you have made it this far though, thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Please come back again sometime. Anyway, until then, I'll see you all very soon. Bye.